So good morning here on a Sunday. Had a very good night of sleep, just did my stretching and meditation, and now I'm actually ready for doing some research work. I tried something new yesterday regarding sleep, and this is something I wanted to share. Just because it's so important, and on the other hand, sleep always has been a bit of an issue for me. Like many people are like, oh dang, I only had like 6 hours of sleep, and for a long time I was like, oh wow, I would be happy if I would even have had these 6 hours of sleep. So not only due to the research, but also with the psychology work I'm doing, I'm very familiar with the basic concepts, and you probably heard about them. For some of them, they may be new. So I just want to briefly elaborate on a few, but you will probably hear them also at another point again. Some key things for sleep, they didn't help me so much. For other people, they may help. You want to have your bed preconditioned for sleep. By the way, I don't want to bias you when I say like they didn't help me so much, because everyone has like different factors they determine their sleep. And for example, one thing which I mentioned here maybe not perfect for you, so it's something for you could optimize, and for someone else it may be something different. So I think it's always good to have that like portfolio of tools you can do, and in the end I will mention the one which helped me the most now, and very interesting one actually. So the for example, in CBT for sleep, like in psychological therapies for sleep, you encourage people that the bed becomes kind of primed to go sleeping. Like when you go bed, you associate it with sleep. So you shouldn't like chill in your bed, you shouldn't eat food in your bed, and just that your bed is kind of your place if you go to for sleep, maybe for sex also, but mainly for sleep. So you go to bed, and then you want to have a close match your bedtime to sleep time ratio. So if you go to bed and you really can't get sleep, then you go up again, and then you go to bed only again when you feel like, okay, right now I'm actually very tired, I could sleep right now. It's hardly possible to have like a 1-to-1 ratio of bed sleep time ratio, but you want to be as close as possible to that like bedtime to sleep time, kind of when you're awake, leave the bed, and when you're sleeping, be in the bed, kind of. Other things are like sleep time hygiene. You probably know that. Ideally, different studies say different things. 1 to 2 hours before bed, no more phone, because of the melatonin release, which gets inhibited when you're exposed to the blue light emitted from your phone screen. Obviously also applies to other screens. Then having a dark room, because it's also related to the melatonin release. The darker, the more melatonin you will get, and the more sleepy you will feel, and the better your sleep duration and quality will be. Then temperature, different people like different temperatures. Most of the research suggests like a colder temperature, and interesting podcast by Matthew Walker I was listening to. He actually said kind of the points where you lose most of your kind of temperature are your head, feet, and hands. So he actually said kind of most people kind of maybe sleep like in a t-shirt and whatever. He actually even encouraged like to sleep without a shirt, but wearing gloves and socks, which probably looks very awkward. But he said research-wise this could be very beneficial, so if you're curious, maybe try that. Obviously you don't want to eat very high sugar and high carbohydrate stuff right before bed, because it makes your insulin levels peak, and just then often leads to that a few hours later you will get super hungry, craving for new carbs in this case. So if you eat like very high in sugar and high in carb stuff, maybe say at 10 p.m. and then chances are that you might get awake at 3 a.m. feeling very hungry. So something I also would not recommend. But these are certainly all things I tried. Another thing which was helpful for me, I often go to pee at least once per night. I generally drink a lot of water, so that happens. And some people then can go directly to sleep again. What often happens for me in that mini periods of going to toilet and then going to bed again is that my brain suddenly gets very active. Then I was like, oh, cool. For example, when I work with a more complex coaching case and then suddenly I get an idea what we could also work on with that person. So I write it down, then I get other ideas for, oh, shit, I also need to do my tax declaration for this year, or I wanted to order also something on Amazon because, for example, I'm running out of stock on filters for my water filter kind of. So suddenly like random things come to my mind. And then my brain is suddenly awake, but my body still wants to sleep. And a very simple trick here, not even a trick in my opinion, is just having a little notebook next to your bed on your night desk and just write it down. Everything which comes to your mind where you feel like, oh, I don't want to forget that. Take a pen, write it down. Then for a lot of people that works, then you have it like off your brain and then you can fall asleep again because you're not like, oh shit, I need to memorize that. You can just write it down and then keep it for you, and then do it whenever it's time in the next morning. And with a lot of other things, it's really like, can I do it right now? This is actually something I worked with to realize, is that something I should do right now? For example, for example, I write an important piece of research or maybe even an application for something. And then something comes up at like 2 a.m. and I feel like, oh, should I do that right now? Or would it actually be better tomorrow? So you want to make a good decision. Would I actually benefit more from sleep? And I came to the conclusion, for me, then in most cases, I actually benefit more from sleep and do something with a rested brain rather than just because you have that sense of urgency, oh, I want to get it done and da-da-da. But you can do a lot better when you had a good night of sleep and then next morning, fresh brain, get it easily done in 10 minutes and not like doing lots of mistakes at night or late in the evening. But yeah, what was the thing that recently worked really well for me? Actually, a friend shared that with me in a voicemail. It's like super cool. So I told him about what I just told you about when I wake up at night. Sometimes my brain is very alert. I'm thinking about a lot of things. He told me about a metaphor of a dog. Like, don't know if you ever observed how a dog goes to sleep. Like normally they go around their, say, sleeping place, and sometimes they walk like 3 rounds around their place. Then they lie down and then they make like 1 or 2 times like they do 2-3 deep size breath, like they just 2 or 3 times intensely breathe out, which also in the literature around anxiety, if your out breath are longer than your in breath, it's found to decrease your stress levels. And actually I did that before sleep yesterday, and I need to do it more often to see how valid it is for me. But it actually helped, and I was just lying down like I do every evening. I did these 2-3 breaths and I didn't expect anything, and just, I fell asleep super quick, like 2-3 minutes. And the coolest thing about it is actually that it really doesn't take any effort, and it's not like, oh, I need to listen to my sleep podcast, or I need to read in my book, or I need to do ABC. It really takes just like 10-20 seconds, and that's like totally manageable. There are so many useful things where you feel like it's so cool, but it takes so long and just can't be bothered to do that. And this was super helpful for me. But obviously I tried all the other things also out first. So if you also struggle a bit with sleep, try the other things also. And often it's a combination of all of these. For instance, when I say about putting your phone away before bed, certainly one of the most important and also easiest tips, just phone away at least 1 hour before, and then just do some manual tasks before bed where you can give your brain some time to rest and digest the information from the day. For example, don't know, it sounds boring, but fold some laundry or so, because it's anyway stuff you need to do whilst you have your phone away, and then slowly go to bed like in a slow paced mode. That's that for that. Hope you have a nice Sunday, and I see you.